Do you not believe that digital cameras, the new generation of digital cameras, are effectively duplicating the film experience?
No.
I agree with him 100%.
No,
Really?
Absolutely not.
3 films that I'm shooting in these 3 years, they're being shot digitally, but I have a film I'm developing based in Hong Kong, and there's no way I would shoot that digitally, not with the current crop of of digital cameras and what the emotion, the resulting emotion that those cameras give. It's just not in the same league.
I've shot 2 films in digital, and one was a comedy that Jake Kasdan directed. Did multiple takes, and it was really important for him to have the ability to just do a lot of improv and keep the camera running. But the majority of the filmmakers I work with, even now with the advancements in the technology and the advancements in digital, they'll go for film 100% of the time.
Do you think audiences notice the difference between film and digital?
Depends what your audience is. Joe Public, I'm not sure. But yes, you're discerning filmgoer. I think so.
Would spot it, yeah.
It's very interesting because actually in post-production it's one of the things that I think is going to be the next, for us obviously we work in totally digital domain now.
Yeah.
But for us I think it will be the one thing that is going to be worked on a lot now is going to be to try and replicate the film look with digital stock in the grading area. So there's already a program or an attachment to the baseline, I believe, that can introduce grain.
There are two lines. There is the line which is above and below the line. And we are talking about cost. But shooting on digital versus film, it's cheaper. But compare one to the other. But in the whole budget of the movie, it's not as much. Then regarding that, perhaps 200,000 feet, negative processing, telecine, perhaps 50,000 euros. Is that reason enough to decrease the quality for that? And now there is a fashion to produce, to shoot on digital in almost an automatic way. And most of the producers don't even think about film.
I think there was more concern about films that were shot digitally and distributed digitally 3, 4, 5 years ago. But the advancements that have been made in the last 5 years have alleviated some of those concerns from a distribution level, internationally speaking. In the foreign distributors, they're very savvy because we have, with the new invention of the 3D now coming into play as well, everybody wants to know what that final product is going to look like, and it's going to be digitally projected or it's going to be a film print, and it affects your delivery requirements, and ultimately I think that the concern isn't what it used to be. They're feeling that the images that are shot on video are strong enough, and I think now it's more of a question of content.
Does Technicolor think that 3D is around for the long term?
Oh yeah. It's part of, I believe, the process. 2D, 3D, as you say, a romantic comedy or, King's Speech in 3D, there's no value. So at one point there'll be some balance. Animation, I believe it's fantastic. Animation, it's great, But then there's, we need to find the balance between what needs to be 3D. But we are, as a technical provider, we will support the format and we'll support our customers whether they decide to do 2D or 3D. So
this certified 3D is a tool that protects the audience at home to watch 3D content on a wrong way. And this system goes through the movie, through the whole picture, every frame, and detects where it's out of sync, if the edges are well positioned. Then, because film on theater, everything is accepted, even on contrast, black and white, chroma, etc. But on TV, there are some limits. We know all the legalizers that must be under the vault and the. But on 3D, there is no any tool. The only tool is this one, and this is to protect that the content that the audience sees at home it will not cause headache.
I am involved a bit in distribution
Yeah.
with Cinema RNX through their own direct distribution.
Yeah.
So in the UK, I go from post-production right through to the cinema sometimes. But there is less cost in the servicing. So that's the advantage of that. And we've been servicing, so we're not having to make prints, and then get
Transport
those
them and-
physically into trucks and deliver them. A drive or a stick even is going to cinemas and moving around. And as this film is in the cinema, we've been able to keep the film in the cinema because we've been able to move it around into the cinemas that can take it whenever for that week. And so it's been very, very convenient for us to have it in that format rather than on print. Much easier.
Yeah, but you're gonna pay for VPF every time you use a new screen,
So
which is a big difference in cost.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
especially when you have prints that you can move from a country to another, and you know your cost may.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
when everybody is digitized, though, it'll be.
But you still need a key. You still need a key to manage your, to open to decrypt your file, your digital file. So.
It's going to benefit distributors, no two ways about it. It's going, because they're going to save a lot of money ultimately. They're not going to have to transport things. Yeah, they're just. I think for exhibitors it's trickier, and clear, it looks like in the UK we're going to be almost completely digitised, all the commercial circuits by the middle of next year. But I think it's for the independent exhibitors. I've got a friend who owns a 5-screen cinema in London, and he's wrestling exactly with this at the moment, negotiating on installing a whole bunch of new projectors, about the cost of the VPF, how he's going to balance this out, how long the projectors are going to last. I think it's very tricky for a lot of independent exhibitors, and I think the exhibitors have the opportunity to save a little bit of money because they can save money on staffing because they won't need projectionists anymore.
We're talking Black Swan. Black Swan was done, of course, all in New York. So all the post-production was done in New York. Matty Libetic was in LA, where he was in New Mexico shooting Cowboy and Alien, and he was in our facility in LA doing the color correction in real time. The colorist was in New York. And instead of moving from New Mexico to New York and coming back Sunday night totally exhausted, he was having a 2-day session in LA. We did the same thing between London and New York, London and LA. So it accelerate the process. It accelerate the process. It makes much more creativity. If you don't have to go to LA to approve 5 reels, guess what?
In post-production, you're doing this across the board from the cutting room. We're having remote editors, visual effects, very, very common now. They just get streamed in. Composers, remote composers, they just send their stuff down the line, right the way through to grading, and it's yes, from that point of view, it's revolutionised a lot of that. You don't have to keep getting people on planes, but it doesn't replace it. There's nothing like having the person there, which is
but
obvious.
Same thing. We have tools, with iPad. You can look at your dailies now, and we have new products that are extremely secure. And yeah, it's clear that you're not going to base your color correction or the quality of your shooting with an iPad, but at least it provides, for the executive, it provides for people some collaborative tools and getting more, especially you shoot in in the US, you're here and you can get access in the morning to your dailies.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves.
Very nice lunch.
Thank you.
It was meant to be fun.
It was fun.